boy in all my classes in middle school want to grow up and either be in the NBA, be in the NFL, or be in Major League Baseball, the MLB. That's their career that they're going to choose. All of them. It's not anything else. It's just, I'm going to be a professional sports player. That's what they want to be. And they think they're going to work hard and they're going to make it. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but they're going to be these great sports players, and that's going to fulfill their life, and everybody will get meaning out of that, and they've done the world a favor. Here's the problem. I have an aunt who could care less about sports. She doesn't care who wins. She doesn't care who loses. She doesn't care what team's playing what or what the ball looks like they're throwing. She could care less. So these boys are striving to go and do something that they think means the world to them, but it's limited. It only applies to them. It doesn't apply to anybody else that thinks sports are pointless. What about this? Oh, I got one. I'm going to save the environment. I'm going to save the trees. I'm going to save the river. I'm going to work. That will mean something. This world we live on, that means something. I'll save that, and somebody will care. Here's the problem. Not everybody cares about this world we live in. Not everybody cares about the trees. Not everybody cares about the Amazon. Not everybody cares about the endangered species. They don't care. It's limited. My point is, the world can never offer you something that applies to everybody. The world cannot give you a purpose that hits everybody's heart. Well, they look at you and say, hey, their life was full of meaning, because you have people that don't like sports and say, well, they wasted their life. You have people who care less about the environment. Well, they wasted their life. You have somebody who tries to be a politician their whole life. You have people who care less about that. It's limited. Not everything applies to everybody. The world cannot cover everyone. There's not a universal cause within the world that unites everybody. It's a problem. Here's the next problem that they have. Every purpose, every meaning the world gives you is vain. Everything you labor for in this world is vain. I don't mean to really get down on you, but it's the truth. Everything in this world is vain. Say you have a company man. Man's worked for an automotive company for several years, 30 years plus. Labored hard, worked Christmases, went without seeing his kids so he could put not only money in his account, but build up a reputation within his company that everyone says, look at him. Look what he achieved in his life. Now here's my question for this man who has an eternal soul. When this world burns with fervent heat and his automotive company burns up with it, what's he left with? What's he left with? Nothing. We have somebody like me who tries to be a teacher, going to change all the young minds and mold them and make them better. And when their school burns down with fervent heat, when this world is destroyed, what are they left with? Nothing. You have somebody that labors and breaks their back and sacrifices their family and does all these things to gain something in this world. And when the world burns and everything within it is destroyed, what are they left with? Nothing. You go and work with your company, a company will be better than yours and they'll beat you. You can go work in your school and some other school will get better grades and better scores than your school. Not everybody can be number one, and not everybody stays number one. It's all vain. It never gives you anything that's lasting. It's like sand going through your fingers. It's a purpose that never stays. And then you go back to square one. My life has no purpose. My life has no meaning. People to get to the midpoint of their life, and everything's sand going through their fingers, and they're saying, my life has no purpose. My life has no meaning. What am I supposed to do? And here's the last one that I really want to focus on. This is actually kind of a quick message. My second point here has three parts. Here's the last one. Not only are the purposes of the world limited, they don't reach everybody, they're vain, they don't accomplish anything, but true ideas are easily corrupted. What are you talking about, Blake? Well, ideas like freedom. That seems good, doesn't it? Freedom. Justice, that sounds good. What about science? That sounds good. What about love and being loyal? Those things sound good. What about happiness? That sounds great. How can someone who spends their whole life working for these ideas that aren't vain, that don't go away? Everybody likes happiness. Everybody likes freedom, Blake. That reaches everybody. You're lying to me. You said the world was limited. You said the world was vain. And here I've listed 5 things that seem to apply to everybody and have a permanent use. But folks, we fail to realize just because love is an idea that seems to be great doesn't mean just because mankind gets a hold of it and then corrupts it, it's totally ruined. I want to give you 5 examples, or roughly what I just said, and I'm going to tell you how mankind drives them into the ground, or no longer worth what they were. Freedom. Everybody wants to be free. There's great men that are remembered in history books because, and women, that fought for freedom. But do you ever hear about the French Revolution? You ever heard about that? I know it's in history class, but the French Revolution. France was ruled by kings, by a monarchy. And they got tired because their monarchy didn't care about the poor people and only cared about the rich people. And they said, we'll revolt. We'll have freedom. We'll do this the right way. And what they ended up doing was killing everybody in that country. It was called the Reign of Terror. And they just brought out that guillotine. And they just started, they killed the monarchy. And then anybody else that got in their way, they just put their head on the guillotine too and chopped it off. They started that in the name of freedom. And all they had at the end of it was a bloodbath. Freedom, corrupted. Well, there went that. The world offered that, and that's gone. You want another one? I'll give you another one. Science. Advancement. Isn't the world a great place now? We have better medicines. People live longer. It seems to be getting better. You know, there was a man who thought he could do the world a favor when he invented dynamite. I almost believe, I'm not sure about this, I may be wrong, so don't quote me on it, but I believe he won the Nobel Peace Prize because he created a really strong explosive. You know why he created that? He hoped that if he created such a strong weapon, that he would bring peace to the whole world, and there would never be another single war after that. If they had the ultimate weapon. Same thing with the atomic bomb. If we had a weapon no one else had, that would bring utter peace. And do we have peace? Is everything smoothed over now? No. Corrupted. What about justice, Blake? Justice is something everybody needs. I like to see justice. You know, justice is corrupted, and we put that in our hands too. I can give you several examples of that. What about the Native Americans when we started taking their land? Now, it always bothers me when I wake up in the morning and realize I'm on some Native Americans' hunting ground. That probably doesn't bother you, but it bothers me. I live here anyway. Native Americans, they said, they're coming against us. We need to have justice. They're taking our homeland, so they go out and they'd fight for justice. Did they get justice? No, they made things worse. And they had another big bloodbath, and now where are they all gone? They're dead. That's what happened to them. Here's another one. Jack the Ripper. Ever heard about him? He thought he'd bring justice to England by killing all those prostitutes and sending people a message. Boy, he did justice favors there, didn't he? What about love and being loyal? Those are 2 things that are so great. They start the same letter. Love and loyal. Being loyal to somebody. Those things are great. But if they're corrupted, they're terribly bad. You know, it's really good to love your country, to be loyal to your country. You think that? Don't anybody think that's a crime to be loyal and loving to your country? Civil War was even a bigger thing. We got to be loyal. We got to love either the Union or the Confederacy. One man loved the Union and was so loyal to the Union. You may know his name, General William Tecumseh Sherman. Loved the Union so much, was so loyal to the Union, that when he went down south,